There's no escaping the fact that sit-on-tops and inflatable kayaks have revolutionised this sport. They've got thousands of people out on the water who otherwise wouldn't have gone canoeing. So here's Glenn Eldridge again of Ocean Sports Centre with his top tips for staying safe on sit-on-tops and inflatables.
The growth of sit-on-top kayaks, whether they're plastic, rotor-moulded or inflatable boats, it's been exponential over the last few years. In terms of getting out on the water, it's really important to firstly understand that it's a dynamic environment. Things just can't be switched on or off. Get the weather report, know what the tide is doing. So whenever you go paddling, it's always important to go into the wind or the tide first. If you get tired, you've just got to come back with the wind. The worst case scenario is you might sit there with your paddles out of the water, but you're going to get blown back to the point you came from. So it's important to understand your local environment. And if you don't know, ask the lifeguards. Ask somebody who knows. Don't be afraid to go to the harbour master and talk to them or the lifeguards on the beach. Let somebody know where you're going to and let them know what sort of time you're going to be back. But also have a threshold. So this is acceptable. If I'm this late, this is okay. But once it gets past this time, you need to call these people, and that's really very important to do that. The next one is the kind of kit that you take out on the water. So you don't need a great deal, but it's absolutely vital that you wear a buoyancy aid. That buoyancy aid means that if you can't get back into your craft, you can fall out, but if you can't get back in, you know that you're going to be okay. But what's also really important, in the most of the situations, is always to stay with your craft. It's much easier to find somebody with a big lump of plastic than it is that person on their own. But it's good practice to have a phone of some kind in a waterproof pouch. So then you know that if there is an issue, you can call somebody. The advantage of these type of craft is that it holds weight, it goes in your boot. If you don't have a garage to put them in, then it will go in nice and neatly underneath the stairs at home somewhere. The disadvantage of these types of craft usually is that they have a higher freeboard or a gunnel on them, so they sit higher on top of the water. What that means is on a windier day, because they're lighter and they have this higher windage or greater windage than a normal kayak, it means they're going to be influenced by the local conditions more so. But also as the conditions maybe get a little bit rougher, they don't quite have the same rigidity and have a little bit like a lilo effect as you're going through the water. Knowing your environment is really important, and there's a particular type of wind that isn't going to work so well with an inflatable or anything that goes out on the water, and that's known as an offshore wind. The problem with the offshore is that you're heading out to sea feeling relaxed, this is lovely, feeling much warmer, but then when you turn around you're confronted by this offshore that's blowing straight out to sea. So whenever in doubt, don't go out and try and find somewhere else that might be more suitable. Maybe a local lake or river or an estuary. It might just mean that later on in the day it might be better for you to go out in the water.